On a quiet, unremarkable street, in a small town, where everyone seemed to know everyone else, an ordinary figure walked every morning. This person, whom most saw as compassionate and selfless, carried an aura of warmth that soothed those around them. But beneath the gentle gestures and kind smiles lay a secret that not even the most observant neighbor could guess. Because sometimes, kindness, no matter how genuine, isn't enough to keep the shadows at bay. The story begins with an image of a quaint town that feels familiar and comforting. But as we move closer, a hint of unease begins to seep into the edges, suggesting that something darker may be lurking beneath the surface of this seemingly perfect picture. Our protagonist, Evelyn, is a schoolteacher known for her compassion and dedication. She lives alone in a modest home, just outside town, where she spends most of her time reading, gardening, and helping her neighbors. Her life follows a predictable rhythm: work, grocery shopping, volunteering at the local community center. The town itself, Willow Creek, has a serene charm. There's an old forest just outside the town boundaries, where legends whisper of strange sights and sounds after dark. It's a place Evelyn has avoided since childhood, though she can't remember exactly why. She recalls only fragments of a long-ago memory, one of standing by the edge of those woods, hearing voices calling her name. Hints begin to emerge. Neighbor casually mentions Evelyn's forgetfulness. A stray cat appears each night on her doorstep, staring intently as if watching her. And then there's her recurring dream of a dark figure standing by her bed, whispering her name. But Evelyn brushes these things off as fatigue from her demanding work. Evelyn begins to notice small, strange details that don't add up. She finds her plants withering despite her careful attention. Small trinkets in her house moved or misplaced, and sometimes even locked doors left ajar. Her students start telling her about the man in the hall, whom they say watches her, though no one else seems to notice him. One night, as she walks home through a foggy evening, she feels someone trailing her. She turns, seeing nothing, but the feeling remains, thick and oppressive. Evelyn tries to rationalize her unease, but the world around her feels wrong. Her own reflection in mirrors seems somehow different, her eyes darker, her smile almost unfamiliar. She confides in her friend and colleague, Sarah, who shrugs it off as stress. But as Evelyn speaks, a light flickers in the distance, and they both fall silent, feeling the same inexplicable dread. The audience is drawn in, left wondering, is Evelyn haunted, or is her mind playing tricks on her? They're invited to consider what's real and what's illusion. One evening, Evelyn returns home to find her living room disarrayed, though nothing appears to be missing. On the wall, smeared faintly in dust, are the words, "Remember me." Panic fills her as she recalls that old memory by the woods. She decides to visit her childhood home, hoping to jog her memory. There, Evelyn discovers an old photo album filled with unfamiliar faces. But then, one photo catches her eye. It's of her as a young girl, standing by the edge of the forest, with a figure in the shadows behind her. She can't see the figure's face, but she recognizes the coat. It's the same coat her late father wore before he vanished one winter night without a trace. Evelyn realizes with horror that her father never left town. He disappeared in those woods, and his spirit or something else is now trying to make itself known. As the memories flood back, Evelyn understands the warning she received as a child. The forest is a place where kind hearts become trapped, where compassion invites the lost souls who never found peace. Evelyn, shaken, tries to resume her normal life, but finds herself haunted every night. She hears whispers around her home, the word "remember" slipping in and out of her dreams. Then, one day, she sees a figure standing by the edge of the forest, staring at her. It wears her father's coat. In desperation, she consults an old town elder, who tells her that those lost to the forest can never fully leave, that they feed on the kindness of those who remember them. Evelyn realizes her own compassion has drawn her father's restless spirit to her. She feels torn. She'll ignore it and hope it fades, or does she risk her own peace to free him? The elder hints that Evelyn might end up as her father did, drawn back to the forest, destined to roam as another lost soul. But she knows she must make a choice. One dark, misty evening, she walks to the edge of the woods and whispers, "I remember. I release you." Evelyn never spoke of that night to anyone. Some say her house remains empty, save for the garden that now blooms more than ever. And though she left Willow Creek, those who pass by her home can sometimes hear soft whispers by the windows. Perhaps it's the wind, or perhaps the memory of kindness that lives on, long after we're gone. If you enjoyed this chilling tale of kindness and mystery, be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more stories like this. And if you're curious about the other secrets that Willow Creek hides, stay tuned. There are more shadows in the town than meet the eye.